Hazbin Hotel has a great roster of characters, but with so few episodes per season, most of them end up being useless. But the question is, which one of them is the most useless? In this video, I want to analyze the characters I think were more superfluous to the story. One note, Lucifer won't be in this video. This isn't because I think he's useful, quite the opposite. It's just that I already made a video dedicated to him and Vaggie. So let's begin. I personally don't mind Cherry Bomb, but just like Vaggie, everything about her is tied to a love interest, which makes her a boring character to me. She doesn't feel like an actual character anymore, as her motivations and character are now tied to Serpentius. The love story between them felt very forced, and it gave me the impression of an unnecessary ship. Their song, while not terrible, didn't really impress me. I also don't like the reason why she decided to stay at the hotel. Of course, she doesn't feel sorry for her sins, she just wants to see Pentious again. I appreciate that Cherry seems to genuinely care for Angel though, and I think pairing her up with Husk to go rescue him was a good choice. So at least she did something this season. Right from the start, Baxter didn't convince me. His motivation for staying at the hotel is that he considers redemption fake and wants to study it. I expected this character to go through some character development, except he doesn't. He just changes his mind at the end because he says they've been nice to him, something that they could have shown us rather than telling us. His development happened completely off-screen. If they don't want to write this show, why are they animating it at all? His main purpose is to infodump on Pentious, and if Charlie had bothered to ask Pentious about his past in Season 1, something that should be mandatory if she wants to redeem sinners, this character wouldn't have needed to exist. He worked for Vox, and that's how he was able to hack into his system in the finale, because the plot needed it. But if Vox knew he had that knowledge, why let him go to the hotel? Also, if he's a bioengineer, he shouldn't be able to hack a system. That's not his field. They also tease a potential ship between him and Nifty, and I personally don't see any chemistry between them. So as it is, he is a useless character who only becomes friendly and relevant because the plot needed him to. I personally am not a fan of the Speaker of God, and it's not because she looks like another Helliverse character I find insufferable. I don't like her because she doesn't really feel like a character. She feels more like a narrative device. Maybe I'm wrong, but I got the feeling that Vivzipop made this character as a jab at those who criticized Charlie's idea of redemption after Season 1 came out. It felt as if the show was telling me, see, the Speaker of God says Charlie is correct, so you have to blindly believe it now. The Speaker of God came down to greet Pentious, and okay, I get it, a sinner redeeming himself after death is an extremely peculiar case, so it makes sense she showed up. But where was she when Vox shot an angelic beam directly at heaven? If that doesn't qualify as a unique situation, what does? And if she sees everything, why did she allow Adam to hit the exorcists? Her behavior reinforces the impression that her sole narrative purpose is to validate Charlie's worldview and silence criticism, not to act like an actual character with consistent motivations. Remember how Season 1 ended by telling the viewers that the V's would have been the next season's big bad? Well, actually, it was just Vox. He gets the spotlight, and Val and Velvet are just there. Valentino is slightly more interesting because he's tied to Angel, a main character. But Velvet is the third wheel, and we know nothing about her. It feels as if she was added as an afterthought only to put a girl in a trio of villains. The fact that Vox, too, can do what she does makes her feel even more useless. It also would have been interesting to see how Vox met his partners in flashbacks. The flashback between him and Alastor was interesting, so why not show something similar with Val and Velvet, especially Velvet, to flesh them out more? The only truly memorable moment involving Velvet was her fight with Nifty. Think about it for a moment. What would have changed if Velvet wasn't in this season? She's supposed to be one of the 3 rulers of Hell's media empire, but the show treats her like Vox's unpaid intern. In my personal opinion, Abel is the most inconsequential character of the show. He's the son of Season 1's main antagonist, whose death led to the entire plot of Season 2, and he's a glorified background character. My main problem with him is that if you cut out all of his sins or give them to Emily, then nothing would change besides Lute being the exorcist leader. So instead of being his own character, he's just another Emily. He's the first ever murdered person in history in one of the most famous biblical stories, and it's never mentioned. They just tell us Adam preferred Cain and nothing else. They could have fleshed out his relationship with his father and the responsibility placed on him. Instead, we got nothing. His character arc, if we want to call it that, is barely even an arc. He shows up as a wimpy soft boy for the entire season, until he sings his part in Hear My Hope. which is the best part of the song, where he goes through his whole character arc in 1 minute, which isn't satisfying. I also want to remind you that they got Patrick Stump to voice him, and he doesn't have a solo song. How can you fuck up this badly? Personally, if this character never appeared again in future seasons, I wouldn't miss him. So these were the characters that I found to be the most useless in the show. But now I want to hear your opinion. Who is the most useless character of Hazbin Hotel? Is it one of these 5? Is it Lucifer? Is it someone else I haven't mentioned? In the next part, I will finally address the deer in the room, so stay tuned.